Okay, just want to make a follow-up on this game. I made previous videos about how I said the Iowa Hawkeyes were coded to lose this game. Lots of things surrounding it, and they ended up losing. Yes, they were favored to lose, but only by like 3.5. And this game was just super coded. It was actually a very Masonic coded game. So first thing I want to repoint out here, I talked about Niall Kinnick. In the previous video, I said that he died at the age of 24. He wore number 24. His name, Niall Kinnick, he's a junior, Niall Kinnick Jr. It adds up to 139, just like Freemasonry. Also, while I'm here, interesting to point out, he died in the Gulf of Paria, Venezuela. That adds up to 223, just like the Synagogue of Satan, just like the word Masonic. Skull and Bones number is 322. Skull and Crossbones, that needs to have an E in there, but Skull and Crossbones adds up to 223. Friday the 13th, we just had the Paris attacks on Friday the 13th, even the first day of Lupercalia, February 13th, 223. So anyway, I want to show you this little clip of the game here. If you notice, look at the score is right now, 9-13 or 13-9. Kind of like 139. So like Freemasonry, like Niall Kinnick Jr. Look when the clock stops here. 9:31, 139, the mirror, and the score is 9-13. So it's all about Freemasonry. This is also the beginning of Michigan State's last drive. I knew they were going to win when I seen this. There was no way they were going to lose this game. That's why the drive took so long. There's even more than this, and I'll show you in a second. They coded it with the number 33, and then, Freemasonry up here. But, I mean, just think about it. Why in the world do all of these famous people, they're always in a secret society or a fraternity, or, they're always a part of something like this. They're a Jesuit. Why is that? Can someone really explain that to me? Every famous person you look up, you find out they're in a fraternity, or they're part of the Skull and Bones, or they're in some secret society. Even Niall Kinnick, Phi Kappa Psi here. Connor Cook, Michigan State's quarterback. Look where he went to high school. Walsh Jesuit High School. Pope Francis is the first Jesuit pope. The Jesuits are also believed to have been the people who killed Abraham Lincoln. Even Iowa's quarterback, C.J. Beathard, this is his dad right here, Casey Beathard. Of course, he was in a fraternity too, Kappa Sigma, but he's like a famous, he helped write some of these country songs. You can come through and look. They're all famous songs and whatever. So his dad's rich. His grandpa is Bobby Beathard, and he was a former general manager of the NFL. So I can't find anywhere where it says C.J. Beathard is in a fraternity or any type of group like that. But I'm almost positive he is. Maybe you just can't find it right now, but there's no way that he came from this rich of a family and he's not part of the club. Anyway, moving on here, let's watch the rest of this game here. So, Michigan State has the ball, they're doing their drive, and they foreshadow what's going to happen in this game. They foreshadow the number 16 3 different times on this final drive. So this play, number 16 catches it, but he went out of bounds first. So they have a big old, they have to look at it forever. Of course, being guarded by number 13, they're showing you the final score here, 16-13. Then the very next play,
in the biggest moments, your best players have to show up, and Cook and Burbridge do on that play. That was the tightest window that you can possibly fit the ball into. Lomax had great coverage over the top as a safety. Maven was right there as a corner, and then Burbridge held on after getting popped. A 16-yard gain, first and...
So the very next play after they do that review, number 16 gets a 16-yard pass.
10 to the 34 for Michigan State. 5:06 to go. Cook again looking backside. Curry. True freshman, rugged.
And then not very much longer, they put this little stat up. Plays in opponent's territory. Michigan State 16. Iowa, I believe that's 0. Yeah, 0. 16. I mean, they're showing you what's going to happen. And that 16-yard pass by number 16, I forgot to show you here. So it was number 13 and number 27 that tackle him. Remember, Iowa gets the ball back with 27 seconds left at the end of the game. And I didn't record any more of the plays, but I'll just show you here in the play-by-play. At the very end of this game then, Michigan State, for whatever the reason, they call a timeout with 33 seconds left, 33 being the highest degree in Scottish Rite Freemasonry, a very special number to them. And it really makes no sense because they had more than one play, and they could have ran the clock down farther than 33 seconds, but they call a timeout at 33 seconds, and then on the very next play, number 3 scores the touchdown. So 33 seconds left, they run a play, and number 3 scores the touchdown. Michigan State ends up winning by 3. I mean, even look at this. Connor Cook, his quarterback rating, 33.3. Give me a break. The guy who scored the touchdown, number 3, LJ Scott here. Just show you that he's number 3, LJ Scott. He scores the touchdown. He averaged 3.3 yards a carry this game. Scores on a play that starts on 33 seconds. He is number 3. Michigan State even attempted 33 passes in this game. I mean, what are the odds of that? Also, I've talked about the number 91 a whole bunch. Connor Cook had 191 passing yards. That's the mirrors 19 and 91, or 91 and 91, depending on how you look at it. I said if stuff adds up to 91, it seems like the team usually loses. But if something is like this, like the yards, the team always wins. Or that's at least from what I've noticed. And interesting that Iowa, like the abbreviation of Iowa is IA. I is the 9th letter, A is the first, 91. Michigan, on the other hand, is MI, 13 and 9, 139. And this can go with either team, but 33 seconds, that's how much was left, adds up to 91. Also, so Michigan State scored 16 points. If you add up 16, it adds up to 33. I mean, come on now. It also adds up to 96 the big way. The word Freemason adds up to 96. So they ended up winning by 3 points. A very interesting number when you write it out. 3 adds up to 29 and also 56. I've talked a lot about the number 56 in the last video. The word 56 adds up to 55, just like Iowa Hawkeyes, just like Tyler Sash. I'll just come up here and show you. Tyler Sash, Iowa Hawkeyes. They got the ball back with 27 seconds left. 27 adds up to 55. Iowa's last drive also started on the 27-yard line. And I had talked about how recently this number has been associated with death and loss and whatnot. So, I mean, even Scott Weiland adds up to 55. STP 55. He died in Bloomington. That adds up to 55. Kobe Bryant announced his retirement on a date that adds up to 55. Finished the game with an air ball. He's playing the Pacers, who adds up to 60. And 60 and 55 are mirrored years this year. Retirement equals 55. Tons of other stuff to go along with it. But the Iowa, then, they lost by 3. And the small way, 3, adds up to 29. Interesting, because Iowa is the 29th state out of the 50 states. Also, the score, 16 to 13. 16 plus 13, 29. The game was in Lucas Oil. Lucas Oil adds up to 29. I mean, look at this. Even Kinnick Stadium. Kinnick Stadium actually opened in 1929. Also, look at this. I mean, you just can't make it up. So, Iowa is going to the Rose Bowl, the first Rose Bowl appearance since 1991. So, there you go. You got your 91 mirrors again. And Also, that is 24 years ago. Niall Kinnock died at the age of 24, was number 24. They even named Kinnock Stadium after him, right? And he died during World War I. World War I began on September 1st, 9/1. But Kinnock Stadium, if I could find it here, they named it to him in 1972. That is 43 years ago. So he died in 1943. 43 years ago, they named Kinnock Stadium after him. Also, Kinnock was built then and opened in 1929. 1929 to 1972 is a span of 43 years. It's the halfway point. I mean, even in Gematria, he's known for winning the Heisman Trophy. Heisman Trophy adds up to 72. And wouldn't you know, just Heisman. Heisman adds up to 33. So whatever, if you think this is all a coincidence, just please go back and watch previous videos that I have made. It's not just sports. It's in mainstream news articles. It's in music. It's in everything. They code this stuff constantly, and nobody seems to see it. I'm just pointing it out. I mean, so anyway, I thought of Herbert Hoover because Herbert Hoover is the only president that actually came from Iowa. Interesting, I've been talking about Herbie and how they're killing Herbie and whatnot, and his name's Herbert, which is kind of like Herbie. I guess they could call him Herbie, even though I didn't see anywhere that they would. I just found that interesting, as much as I've been mentioning the Herbie dealing with the number 91 in Nebraska and whatnot. But wouldn't you know it? I mean, look when he became the president. March 4th, 1929. The only president from Iowa, the 29th state, becomes president in the year 29. He even turned 55 years old the year that in 1929. Interesting. He even became president on a date that adds up to 55. 3 plus 4 plus 19 plus 29, 55. He also became president 159 days before his 55th birthday, which is also a span of 159 days. Herbert Hoover in Gematria adds up to 159. 159 is also 5 months, 6 days, kind of like the 56. Remember, 56 adds up to 55. Tons of 55. Iowa Hawkeyes, 55. Tyler Sash, 55. And I keep mentioning Tyler Sash because he was a sacrifice for Iowa to have a successful season this year. Look at this. Herbert Hoover then. He was only president until 1933. Interesting number for him to quit being president. But he's also known for what? You know, the Great Depression, the Wall Street crash of 1929 that happened on October 24th, 1929. So it was literally exactly 33 weeks and 3 days after he became the president, the great stock market crashed. And then he quit being president in the year 33 even. Also, this doesn't make sense because the next president starts on 3/4, so he wouldn't have ended his presidency on 3/4. His last day of being president would literally have been 3/3 of 1933. 3/3 of 33 was his last day as being president. Also, he was the 31st president, and he died on October 20th, 1964. So from the last day of his presidency to the day that he died, it was a span of 31 years. So 31st president dies 31 years after being the president. Also interesting to point out is that not only was it 31 years here, let's go 64, the amount of days or weeks, it's actually exactly 33 weeks to the exactly. So 31 years, 33 weeks. And I'm sure I could look here for a little bit longer and find more, but I'm running out of time. Just want to cover a few more things. Interesting, he died at the age of 90. 90 is an interesting number because it adds up to 33, but also 87. And if you write out 87, it adds up to 139 and 58, just like Freemasonry. I also forgot to point out earlier with the 29s, the word Iowa even adds up to 29. It's the 29th state. The score of the game was 29. Whatever, lost by 3, 29. But the Great Depression adds up to 91. 1929, when the Great Depression happened, adds up to 91. This is a number associated with Skull and Bones. Jimmy Carter and George Bush are both 91 this year.